Hey guys, are you interested in changing your outer door locks? Maybe they're not working correctly, or if you're like me, maybe just wanted that fresh look because the paint outside was chipping? Well, I'll show you how to go from this to this. Now, if so, keep watching and I'll show you exactly how to replace them. Now, just a quick thing. If you enjoy the videos that I put on my channel, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you do decide to subscribe, please write I subscribed in the comments below. And I'll be sure to reply to each one of your comments. I appreciate that because it really does help the channel. Alright, so let's get back to the video. First, we want to remove the inner door handle and the panel. First, remove the dome light. And if you have a rear view mirror map light, just put the switch in the middle and it'll turn off the light. Roll down the window. Using a T30 Torx screwdriver, remove the 3 bolts holding the inner door handle on. Using a T15 Torx screwdriver, remove the 2 outer screws holding on the trim. Now, we should take note that these are longer screws than the ones that we're going to remove from the switch panels, which we'll be removing next. Now again, let's take note that the screws on the left side towards the back of the car are the only real screws on this panel. The others towards the front of the car are actually fake, so don't try and remove them. It's a good idea to have a container to organize your screws. Then, remove the hidden inner T15 screw. Remove the door lock slider by carefully lifting from the front. There is a small clip that clips to the rod, so just check because sometimes it sticks to that rod. Now take note that there's a small tooth on the bottom of the trim. So simply slide the trim back towards the back of the car to remove the trim. Man, GM sure didn't make things easy for us. Now some people disconnect the switch, but I don't want to risk breaking them, so I just leave them attached. Whether you want to disconnect the switches is up to you, but in this video, I'm going to leave them attached. Now, remove the door panel by using a door panel clip remover, or just use a putty knife. Now there are a lot of clips, 13 to be exact. In order to remove the door panel, you need to squeeze the top trim in order to unhook themselves from these hooks. There are 1 on either side. Next, if you have not yet already, we need the window rolled all the way up, otherwise we can't get access. Quick tip, while not required, I highly suggest using painter's tape to tape around the outside of your door area where you'll be working. Now, we all know accidents can happen, and why risk scratching your door? Protect it. Next, inside the door, we're going to remove 2 rods. First, we're going to remove the rod connecting the outer door lock to the door lock mechanism. Additionally, although it's not necessary, removing the rod connecting to the outer door lock handle, which is connected to the door lock mechanism, will make things easier. To remove the rod from the outer door lock, rotate the clip and pull off the rod. Then do the same for the door handle rod. And this is what the door handle rod looks like once out of the car. Now take note of position of the lock. The arm is pointed towards the front of the car. And to remove the outer door lock from the car, simply pop off the spring clip. Now this area can be rather tight, which is why we remove the door handle rod to avoid damage and gain some extra working space. You can use a very large, long-handled screwdriver, or vice grips or pliers or something, and at times maybe even your hand. Basically, we just need to force that clip by pushing it towards the front of the car. I found a large, long-handled pair of pliers had worked best for me. Now, with that out of the way, the lock should simply come right out. And here is the old lock. Now here is an example of how exactly I removed the clip once it was attached. Here you can see how the clip was attached, and what I did to remove it using a pair of pliers. Now, before we put on the new lock, there are some pieces that we have to reuse. The first one is the arm itself. It is held on by a spring clip, which can be removed with a pair of pliers. Now, before you remove this, there is a very small tab which we need to bend up. Now, before you put on the new lock, we need to ensure that we're placing it on the correct side. On my lock kit, the opening was on the bottom. Next, place the original arm back on the new lock, as seen here. Install one of the new clips that came with the kit. And lastly, to securely clip it on, use a tool to bend the very small tab. Just like that. Now, as you can see, that tab, it stops the clip from coming back off. So we got to make sure that this is secure. Otherwise, that clip is going to slide right off. Now, the one thing that I did notice, the lock that came with my kit was actually taller than the original. However, after installing the new lock, I can definitely tell you that I had not experienced any issues. Next, we want to install the rubber gasket that came with the kit. And so here is what it should look like when done. Now it's time to install your new lock into the car. Now you will notice that the lock will only sit in a certain direction by the fact that there's a smaller opening for the tab towards the front of the car. Next, we need to connect the larger spring clip onto the inner part of the lock. Now, as you can see, there is a difference in size. So for me, I actually ended up reusing the original one as I found it more secure. The metal on the original was actually thicker and I found it much more stronger. Basically, just see which one works for you. And as you can see here, here's the original one reinstalled for mine. Next, we want to reinstall the rod that connects the new lock to the door lock mechanism. And finally, reconnect the rod from the outer door lock handle to the door lock mechanism. And now, the most important thing, test it out to make sure it's working perfectly fine. Now, it might actually seem obvious, but ensure that you have access through another door to get back in the car in case something goes wrong. Believe it or not, I've actually heard people getting locked out of their car after changing their locks without testing them first. And if you applied it, don't forget to remove the painter's tape. Lastly, roll the window down so you can reinstall your inner door panel. And you're done. And check out the before and the after results. Now, just a quick thing. If you enjoy the videos that I put on my channel, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you do decide to subscribe, please write "I subscribed" in the comments below. And I'll be sure to reply to each one of your comments. I appreciate that because it really does help the channel. Alright, so let's get back to the video. Now, one important thing to note is that you should not discard your original keys just yet. For 3rd gen Camaros, the same door key is also used for the rear hatch lock. So, if you only change the outer door locks, you're going to still need your old keys if you wish to use the key to open up your rear hatch. And same goes for the rear trunk locking compartment if your Camaro came equipped with one. The kit I bought had 3 locks, the outer door locks and the hatch lock. But since both of the rear hatch lock and the locking compartment isn't changed, well, I have to keep the original key. Now, if you're interested in changing your rear hatch lock, stay tuned for a future video where I'll be covering just that. Alright guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.